The city pulsed with alien life, a vibrant tapestry of colors and sounds that seemed almost otherworldly. A cacophony of strange sounds and unfamiliar scents assaulted him, each one a reminder of how far he was from home. He was a shadow, a whisper in the alien night, moving with a grace that belied his human origins. This was his domain, the urban jungle of a civilization 1,000 years ahead of his own, a place where technology and nature intertwined seamlessly. Tonight he hunted the most dangerous prey of all, the crown jewels of the Zanora, housed within their seemingly impenetrable palace, a fortress of advanced security and ancient secrets. His name, whispered in hushed tones in the darkest corners of the galaxy, was Alistair Finch, a master thief with a reputation that spanned star systems. Alistair wasn't driven by greed or power. His motivations were far more complex, rooted in a deep-seated curiosity and a relentless quest for understanding. He sought something far more elusive, knowledge that could unlock the mysteries of the universe and perhaps even change the course of human history. Knowledge for its own sake, a glimpse into the soul of a civilization that had touched the stars while humanity was still earthbound, struggling to break free from its own limitations. And what better way to understand a people than to hold their most prized possession, to feel the weight of their history and culture in his hands. The Zanora crown wasn't just an ornament, it was a repository of their history, their wisdom woven from materials unknown to human science, each gem a fragment of their collective memory. He moved with practiced ease, his lithe form navigating the labyrinthine alleys leading to the palace, each step calculated, each movement precise. Towers of shimmering metal and glass pierced the crimson sky, their surfaces reflecting the alien constellations above. Intricate carvings depicting scenes of alien mythology adorned the walls, each one telling a story of gods and heroes long forgotten. He had studied the palace blueprints for months, memorizing every guard route, every security sensor, every potential obstacle that could stand in his way. This was a dance, a delicate ballet of timing and skill where one misstep could mean the difference between success and failure. Reaching the base of the spire, the tallest structure in the city, Alistair paused, taking a moment to steady his nerves. The air hummed with unseen energy, a tangible tension that prickled his skin, reminding him of the stakes. This was it, the moment of truth, the culmination of all his planning and preparation, the true test of his skill, where every decision would be scrutinized by the unforgiving eye of fate. His heart pounded against his ribs, a steady rhythm against the alien symphony of the city, each beat a reminder of his humanity. With a deep breath, he began his ascent, disappearing into the shadows of the spire, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The interior of the palace was breathtaking. Walls shimmered with holographic tapestries, alive with colors unseen on Earth. Strange bioluminescent plants cast an ethereal glow upon the vast halls. The air thrummed with a low, resonant hum, a symphony of alien technology at work. This was a place of power, of ancient lineage and advanced technology, a far cry from the grimy back alleys of Earth. Alistair moved through the palace with the same grace he displayed in the city's underbelly, his dark clothing blending seamlessly with the shadows. He bypassed laser grids, bypassed pressure plates, his movements fluid, almost instinctive. Years of training and experience had honed his senses to a razor's edge. He was a ghost, a phantom gliding through the heart of an empire. The vault lay ahead, a shimmering dome of energy at the end of a seemingly endless corridor. Guards clad in iridescent armor stood watch, their multifaceted eyes scanning the surroundings. Alistair studied them, memorizing their patterns, their weaknesses. He had anticipated their every move. This was his art, his craft. With a whispered prayer to whatever deity might be listening, Alistair made his move. He slipped past the first guard, a blur of motion in the dim light. A quick, precise strike disabled the second, his body slumping silently to the floor. Each movement was a calculated risk, a gamble against fate. He reached the vault door, his fingers tracing the energy field. This was the final hurdle. The vault door shimmered, its energy field momentarily disrupted by Alistair's device. He slipped through the opening, his heart pounding against his ribs. The room was bathed in a soft blue light emanating from a pedestal in the center. Upon it, resting on a cushion of velvet, lay the crown. It was even more magnificent than he had imagined. The crown was a masterpiece of alien artistry. crafted from a swirling vortex of jade and silver. It pulsed with an inner light. Strange symbols etched into its surface seemed to writhe and shift before his eyes. He felt a strange pull towards it, an almost magnetic attraction. It was as if the crown itself was calling out to him, beckoning him closer. He reached out, his gloved hand trembling slightly, and lifted the crown. It was surprisingly light, yet it radiated an intense heat. As his fingers brushed against the cool metal, a jolt of energy surged through him. He gasped, his vision blurring at the edges. Images flashed before his eyes, alien landscapes, strange creatures, and whispered words in a language he didn't understand. For a moment he was lost in a whirlwind of sensations. Then, just as quickly as it had begun, it was over. He stumbled back, clutching the crown to his chest. The vault seemed to spin around him, the air thick with a strange energy. He had the crown, but at what cost? What had he stumbled into? Alistair staggered out of the vault, his senses reeling. The air around him seemed to shimmer, distorting his vision and making it difficult to focus. He could feel the weight of the crown beneath his cloak, a constant reminder of the perilous journey he had undertaken. The crown, now concealed beneath his cloak, felt strangely warm against his chest. It was as if it had a life of its own, a presence that was both comforting and unsettling. It was more than just heat. It felt like a living thing pulsing in sync with his own heartbeat. Each throb seemed to echo through his entire being, creating a resonance that was impossible to ignore. A low hum resonated in his ears, the same sound he had heard in the palace, only now it seemed amplified, closer. It was as if the crown was communicating with him, trying to convey a message that he couldn't quite understand. He had to get out, to escape the confines of the palace before the alarm was raised. The corridors were a maze, each turn leading him deeper into the unknown. But his legs felt heavy, his movements sluggish. It was as if the crown was draining his energy, sapping his strength with every step he took. The corridors, once so familiar, now seemed to twist and turn before him, a dizzying labyrinth. He could no longer trust his senses. Everything was distorted, surreal. The crown was affecting him, he realized, with a growing sense of dread. But how? What power did it hold? And why was it choosing to reveal itself now? He stumbled into a shadowed alcove, gasping for breath. The cool darkness provided a brief respite, a moment to gather his thoughts and regain his composure. Leaning against the cool wall, he pulled the crown out from beneath his cloak and stared at it. The intricate designs and glowing symbols seemed to dance before his eyes, mesmerizing him. The symbols on its surface seemed to glow brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the strange hum in his head. It was as if the crown was alive, a sentient artifact with its own will and purpose. He reached out to touch it, and as his fingers brushed against the metal, a jolt of energy shot through him. The sensation was both exhilarating and terrifying, a surge of power that left him breathless. Visions flooded his mind, chaotic and overwhelming. He saw glimpses of other worlds, other times, a tapestry of existence that defied comprehension. He saw sprawling cities beneath alien suns, vast fleets of starships hurtling through the cosmos, and beings of pure energy engaged in cosmic battles. The sheer scale of it all was staggering, a universe teeming with life and conflict. Then just as suddenly the visions faded, leaving him weak and disoriented. The crown's power was immense, and he was only beginning to understand its true nature. He slumped against the wall, the crown rolling from his grasp. It came to rest at his feet, its glow dimming slightly as if it too was exhausted. It was then, in the silence of the alien palace, that he understood. The crown was not just an artifact, it was a key, a conduit to something far greater. He was now bound to the crown, his fate intertwined with its destiny. Whatever lay ahead, he knew he could not turn back. The journey had only just begun. Alistair picked up the crown, the weight of it heavier than before, but not in a physical sense. It was as if the very essence of the universe had been condensed into this single object. And now it was his burden to bear. It was the weight of responsibility, of a destiny he hadn't asked for, but was now inextricably bound to. The crown was more than just a symbol, it was a key to a future he could barely comprehend. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through the haze of confusion. His mind raced with the possibility.